the Hebrew Israelites. We come out every week to let our people know, which our people are who God has chosen, which are you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's what the world calls it today. You are the children of Israel that's spoken of in the Bible, that the Lord chose. We're out here to warn you of the things that who you inwardly call God is about to allow to happen to the earth. And when he sends his son back to the earth to set righteousness as in the forefront of the earth again.
That's right.
We give all praise and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Arakakadash.
Double honor to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, which are our teachers. Greetings, salutations, and blessings unto the hopeful elect that give their life, diligence, and freedom to push this word to earn their salvation, to wake up the elect, all right? So prophecy is the one thing that separates every other book, every other person in the world from the prophets. Yep. They were the ones, they were the seers, they were the ones that would speak the words of the Most High God before something happened to warn the people. As a matter of fact, get Ezekiel 3 and 17 first. Then we'll go back up in that chapter.
Ezekiel 3 or what?
17.
You get it?
Ezekiel 3 and 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel.
And the Most High God has chosen certain men upon the earth to be a watchman, to watch the signs of the times, to watch the events, to watch the signs of heaven, to know what time that we're living in. And these are the end times. Believe it or not, these are the end times that are written of in the book of Revelations and throughout the Bible and prophecy. Okay? We're here to watch and tell you, hey, watch out, the mark of the beast is the RFID chip. Don't take it. Hey, watch out, this society is gonna collapse when the dollar collapses. We're here to tell you the things before they happen to give you warning. Go ahead, bro.
Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me.
Hear the word at my mouth. We're the mouthpiece of the Heavenly Father, warning you of the things that's going to come to America and different other places in the world. The whole world is going to have to get in a better order, so to speak, not the New World Order, but in a better order, a righteous order, under the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. I thought you had something to say something. That's it on that. Go at the, if somebody has something else, go to the top of Ezekiel 2.
Ezekiel chapter 2 verse 1. And he said unto me, Son of man, stand upon thy feet, and I will speak unto thee.
Hey, the standing upon our feet goes directly back to Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, when we're woken up from these graves. That grave is a dead spiritual state. You've marked yourself, dummy. It's a spiritual mind state that you were dead before, that he's now waking our people up to who they are and standing up certain men, the prophets and the elect, to prophesy and to earn their salvation from you. Go ahead, bro.
Real quick.
Yeah.
It's like Ezekiel, man, these pages, man.
The 6 and 11.
Yeah. Ezekiel 37, since you mentioned it.
Yep. Perfect. Yep.
That's a lot. I thought I had it too. Ezekiel 37 and verse 3. It says, and he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord, power, thou knowest. Yep. Again he said to me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord.
Yep. O ye dry bones, O you spiritually dead people, you so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans. Somebody hand me Caesar, Baba Kushah, wherever that's at.
You're on left.
Yep. If you're worshiping this, if you go to your church and you see this, you're a dead bone, okay? And you're spiritually dead. This is not the image that the Bible that you're supposed to be reading in them churches is talking about. This is a made-up character painted after a living man that walked the earth that died, that was an Edomite, okay? That was the son of the Pope during the time of the Renaissance, okay? This is what he really looked like. This is not what the Lord was described of in the Bible. So if you're doing that and you're following Lent and you're doing the Catholic thing,
Ash Wednesday,
Good Friday, if you're doing all that, you are spiritually dead. That is all made up to make you believe, to have pieces of the Bible, but to have no biblical truth to it.
Yeah.
Okay?
They put those pagan ideologies with the Bible.
That's right.
And you guys, they combined them to bring the people together, and you people practice those wicked ass holidays until this day. Those wicked ass traditions.
That's right. Hey, because Lent begins what? No, you're on point. Lent begins 40 days, but then it ends with Easter, right? But how was that? How was that when after Easter was when he went into the sepulchre and rose? Then 40 days he walked the earth before he was taken up in a cloud. How you gonna have 40 days before?
40 days represents they mourn and weep for the death of Tammuz, which was the son of Semiramis and Nimrod.
Yep.
All right, and they mourn for him 40 days and 40 nights.
Yep.
That's where that goes back to.
Yep. Exactly right. Which leads you right into Easter. I mean, it's all tied in. But if you don't do, if you just take, if you don't do your research, that's the thing about Great Millstone and the real men of the Lord that are whatever camp they're in.
Tammuz and those were Babylonians.
Yeah.
Those were heathens.
Yep.
Those were
Africans.
pagan ideologies that have nothing to do with the scriptures.
Well, actually, Babylon is Iraq, right?
Yeah,
my bad. So, but that goes back to those people. The thing that,
if I may say real quick, going back to the Dark Ages, like when Constantine and them was on the scene, what they had to do to maintain and get political and economic leverage over everybody was, if anybody had an opposing a belief that was contrary to the scriptures, what they had to do was they had to amalgamate all those different pagan ideologies and bring it together in order to bring all the people into that religion. And that's why the Catholic Church is so predominant, and there's so many of them. There's billions of them on the earth, is because it appeases everybody's paganistic ideological stance, man.
And the word Catholic goes back, or Catholicism goes back to universal. So it's universal meaning what? Meaning it's a broad spectrum of everything, but the real truth is acute. It's a small, straightforward, there's no left or right, there's no gray area, it's just what it is, just one lane of truth, that's it. But that spectrum is so broad. If you believe that homosexuals can repent and they'll be all right, then you can. It just gives you every angle. That women are your God. It's all tight. It's everything but the truth. Once the truth is mixed with a lie, it's no longer the truth. That's what they did. They let you hear the buzzwords of the truth, and then they connect it to a lie, and now you believing in a lie. So let's go back.
The Catholicism is that's a they call it not a monotheistic, but a polytheistic religion, man.
I mean, many gods, or many because theos is God in Greek, and poly it means many. So many gods. That's why even Islam stems out of Hinduism, Islam. All those stem out of the Catholic Church, so that they can pull in all different ranges of people into one belief system.
Kind, because don't Catholicism mean universal?
Universal.
Yeah. You have something?
Let me finish this.
You got it.
Back in Ezekiel 37, and verse, I'm gonna jump to verse 9. It says, "Then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, say to the wind, thus saith the Lord God, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came unto them, and they lived and stood upon their feet."
Now the breath isn't the oxygen that's within you. The breath is the wisdom of this word that gives you what makes you alive, okay?
Breath is the understanding of the prophecies.
The understanding of the prophecies, the understanding of the words of the book, the wisdom that's written in this book. Without it, you're not alive. You're just a brute beast. You might as well be a dog or a cow or something wandering around eating and shit, you know?
Yeah, if you call yourself an American, like an African American, Black American, Mexican American, Puerto Rican American, basically you're still in gross darkness. You're still spiritually dead because you don't even know who you are. You don't even know your true identity. You don't know the name of your God. You don't even know the God that you serve, and you don't know what he recommends of you to serve him.
Yep.
So you're just completely dead and gone. You're just walking in the ways of this world, which the ways of this world is to be a complete deviant, a complete animal,
Yep.
to have no self-control, no discipline.
Yep.
Okay? Hey, we're living in the fourth beast, the end of the fourth beast.
That's right.
So the people that rule and control this current world, they're like beasts, they're like animals.
That's right.
Okay? Animals, they don't have a certain moral code that they live by. They just live by their instincts, their flesh. So so basically, to live after the manner of these people is to live animalistically, man.
Hey, if
Like
you
a
think-
beast. Hey, Jake get into they get into like basically the sexual perversion that you see happening.
Yeah.
You know, Jake getting with you know, so-called black men wearing dresses.
Yep.
Or dealing with other men. That's not
like a beast.
that's not normal.
Nope.
You living like a beast, man. All right, or women you know, dressing up like men and getting with other women.
Yep.
You know, homosexuality, lesbianism, transgenders,
Yep.
having orgies. That's all animalistic, man.
Yep.
You got they'll follow after what Esau do. You'll see a Jake couple, just so they can get some type of clout on the internet, they'll have sex out in public, in front of everybody, at a public park or whatever. That's an act of a fucking animal, man.
Yep.
So when you're in that spirit, you're dead. Okay, you're dead, man. You have no breath in you, man.
Right.
Okay?
And the Most High made us, the elect, upright.
Yep.
All right, so we're not supposed to be following after these damn heathens in their ways of life. They, you know, living like this brother said, beast.
Yeah, the difference
Nope.
in Ezekiel. No,
No.
The difference between everybody else and the men of the Lord, or the elect, men, women, and children, or whatever. The difference between us and you, and it's supposed to be between all Israel, is what it said in the book of Ezekiel now that we're reading. That this book was given unto us so that we would live better upon the earth, that we would live wisely in the ways of the Creator of the earth. Okay. It's like, I always use the analogy, it's like having the rules or the instructions on how to do something versus trying to figure it out for yourself. Everybody else trying to figure it out, but this book gives us the ways that we're supposed to do it, that you will have the most benefit out of your life, okay? And if you're not living by that, you're spiritually dead and you're in gross darkness, all right? You got it, bro.
Sleep, yeah, sleep.
Yeah,
This dude is crazy, man.
light wasn't even for him to go.
Right. Let me. This is a quick pre. This is Psalm 73, and verse. I'll start at 21. It says, matter of fact, I'll start at 20. It says, "As a dream when one awaketh, so, O Lord, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image."
Oh yeah. When you come back to dealing with us, when you come back to dealing with us, you're gonna despise what you see in us. You got
Yeah,
it.
because like Esau, he's trying to make you
Yep.
worship his image, his likeness,
His beast.
which is to be a deviant, just to be a complete demon, you know, to be a total degenerate. But when you wake up in the light, when you wake up to this truth, you begin to despise that, man. Like the Most High, he despised that image. That's why anybody that bows down to this system and walk after the manner of this devil, the Lord despises you, man. You know? The Lord actually despises you if you want to walk after the way of the so-called white man.
The Lord hates you.
Yep.
Yeah.
You look at Jake that walked by a few minutes ago, right? You look at us and see the look and the things that we do in our life, but if you'd have seen that Jake, he's completely in the world. And we can see it, I mean,
Face
the
tattoos.
face tattoos, the tight jeans, the whole nine, the shaving face, 5 o'clock, you know, you can't keep, the beard naturally wants to grow. That's why by 5 o'clock, you've already got a shadow of a beard growing back. Because it's naturally supposed to have that on your face. But Jake want to sit there and cut and be smooth baby face like the white man all damn day. That's not what we were given to live the righteous way in the earth. That's why you get all these razor bumps and whatever else when you do that. And magic shave don't help that, okay? It may take the bumps away, but you still look like a heathen in the eyes of the Most High God.
And you know that Jake ain't supposed to shave because we the ones really only get really bad razor bumps, man.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a plague for
That's
doing that.
Con.
You got back in there.
Yeah, let me go back. It says, verse 21, it says, thus my heart was grieved and I was pricked in my reins. I'll read it again. It says, verse 21, it says, thus my heart was grieved and I was pricked in my reins. So foolish was I and ignorant, I was as a beast before thee.
I'm so upset with the person I was before you woke me up to this truth. I detest the person I once was. I want to be better. And what was the end of what he said? I was a beast. But what it said before you?
Yep.
I was a beast before you.
I was as a beast.
I was as a beast. I was like an animal. Not understanding the big picture that you was trying to set before us and give us the ways and orders to walk after your likeness.
Yep.
Yes. What was you reading before that? Ezekiel 2, right? You got something there?
This is Ecclesiastes 7:29. Lo, this only have I found that the Most High have made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions.
Hey, he made us to walk. That when he gave the breath into Adam, it was to wake us up to walk the wise ways of the earth. But what has man done? Man has sought out to be lowly, like a beast, like an animal, to not be upright. But literally, now that doesn't mean you crawl on all fours like an animal, like a monkey or something. It just means you living in the mindset of a beast or an animal.
Con.
You're just following your instincts, following your flesh.
That fleshly nature.
Con.
Yep.
It's like lawless.
Yep. Without discipline.
Yeah, bound.
Without bounds to know what you should and should not be doing in the earth.
Hey, because if you when
Like
you
a child. Go ahead.
Like like a child that didn't know what he was don't know what he's doing.
like example, like it said, you know, the Lord made man upright, but they sought out many inventions. The Tower of Babel is an example of that.
Yep.
All right.
We're gonna build a staircase on earth to get to the fourth dimension in heaven.
All right. Where did the Most High tell? When did He ever give the commands for all nations to come together and build against what the Lord established?
Right.
Man did that.
Yep.
So that's why the Lord had to throw that shit down.
Hey,
He had to confound it.
but there was already 3 different classes of men showing that there was a separation even before they.
Sons of God, the
Yeah.
sons of the wicked.
Yeah, sons of men.
Hey, if you can, Bubba Shah, get Ecclesiastes. I think it's the first chapter real quick.
And today you still got the 3 classes of men, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Start at
Ecclesiastes, where it says, it talks about how the sons of men are beasts. If I'm not mistaken. If it's not the first chapter, then try like the 3rd chapter. 3 and like maybe 18. 3 and like 18, I think.
Yep, Con.
Yeah.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 18. And I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men.
The state, meaning the conditions, you know, their mindset.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
That the Most High might manifest them, and that they might see them, that they themselves are beasts.
That they are beasts.
Yep.
That's the estate of the sons of men.
Yep.
So these other nations, the reason why they do the things that they do is because the Most High created them to be lowly nations, man.
Yep.
That's why He says that they're vanity, they're counted less than nothing.
right.
We're made to be superior, so that means we got to act that out through our ways, through the wisdom, which is the scriptures, the law.
Right.
That's our wisdom in the sight of the other nations, man.
Right.
That when they see it, they shall say, surely this is a wise and understanding people.
Who has the Most High God, who
So
has
near.
the Creator so near
Near
unto
unto
them, that he giveth them, I forgot how it go, but so whatever they ask for in His name.
Hey, that's a racist.
That's a
That
racist
right
thing.
there was racist.
Yep.
If the Most High made us to be above all other people, why would He want us to be equal with Him? Why would He, make us to walk in the same statutes and as them laws and shit?
Hey, if you look at the order of how the replenishing of the earth happens, you go from a man to a father, which means you now have a son, and then you grow old, and then the son grows into a man, into a father, and that keeps repeating. Why wouldn't he just put everybody out at the earth at the same time?
Yeah,
if you want everybody to be the same.
Yeah. You Stockholm Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans looking at us, they're racist, you know. But these other nations, when they go behind closed doors, they look at us Israelites as being less than human, man.
Yeah.
One example, the Constitution, man.
Yep, 3/5.
3/5 of the human, man. That's talking about you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Man.
That's 60%.
And they still think that way, man. Don't let the these white people fool you, man.
Because they cool with you.
You know, these Edomites fool you, man.
They cool with you being 3/5.
Well, shit. Another way that they show that they view you as basically less than human, they dehumanize you. They have this thing which you call slummy.
Yep.
Which these Edomites that live in the suburbs in nice areas, they actually take cameras and they get in their cars and they drive out to the hood, to the projects or whatever, and they just pull out their camera and just go slum it. They just look at niggas in a low estate and get that on camera, and they feel all amused by it. Like, look how they live. You know, look at that crackhead right there. Look, he's sitting on the corner shooting up. Him over there, they over there drinking. Or those black people, they over there stumping out another black person. Just all in a fucked up low position. They look at you as less than nothing, but guess what? Their forefathers is the one who constructed and actually created the environment that you Negroes are living in.
Right.
They the ones that contribute to your conditions, man. Along with these other nations.
Yep. They all conspired against us to keep us in that lowly state.
You know, so basically, under the curse, we're seen as beasts. But really, when we in our glory, in our natural state, we over these nations, man.
Right.
We over them, man.
We've been trained to be lowly and to be the bottom. We've been trained by them to be lower than them.
That's it.
Okay, but when we're in our natural state, we're way higher than them. We're the highest on the planet.
Even in our lower state, we invent everything, man.
That's right.
Dominating sports, fighting, with the inventions, man. You know, look up the inventions that Israel created, man. It'll blow your mind, man. Even the internet we're on right now, man. All right, was created by Judite, man. Philip E. Mangwali, man. You know, he's from West Africa, man. And the previous Bill Clinton, he gave him honors, man, about the internet, man, creating the internet.
That's right, man.
The cell phone, what's that? Henry T. Sampson. Yep.
You had Granville T. Woods. He created a lot of different stuff that you still use today, man. You know, because Jacob is the former of all things. But Esau tried to take that away from Jacob. You know.
This world wouldn't turn. This world wouldn't spin the way it does. Society wouldn't move the way it does without Jacob. We're the salt of the earth. Without us, this place would be bland as hell. Nobody would want to live here. It'd be the worst place on earth. Think about it. Take Jake out of all the sports. Yeah, that's an easy one. Take Jake out of all the sports. Ain't nobody watching that.
I wouldn't watch a bunch of fucking Edomites play a game in 24-hour fitness.
No.
Let alone on TV.
No.
You see Edomites playing anything, you're gonna be like, all right, man.
He ain't a bro.
A lot of them guys in the NBA that look like they so-called white people, they Jake, man.
Yeah. Jumping out the gym.
They Israelites.
Jakes, man.
You got some big G?
Yeah, I got Lamentations there right now.
Go ahead, you got it.
Lamentations 2:15. All that pass by clapped their hands at thee. They hissed and wagged their head at the daughter of Jerusalem.
Yep, they look at our people and say, look how lowly these niggas. Matter of fact, get the Psalm 83. Is that what I said, right? Get that one.
Conspiracy.
Yep. They look at us and they say, look how lowly they are. They say, look how low they are. We're the one that said this is that's it, right?
Yeah, Lamentation.
The city
We
called
have seen
perfection.
it.
Yeah,
that's there. Hey, because what proves that is how they're so they're so appalled at how we could be the ones that are chosen. They act so it's just so out of this world that we could possibly be
Anybody
those people. Wait, you saying that you are the Jews? You're the Israelites?
Yeah.
You know, they laugh about it. You know, they gotta come with all type of try to put up false pseudo information, try to counter what we're bringing out. Hey, they don't care. Hey, let the Asians come out and say we're the people
They'd
of the
be
Lord.
cooler with that.
It wouldn't be as much of an uproar as it is
Yeah.
with us saying that we're the people,
Correct.
man.
Yeah.
They would accept it to some sort of degree.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, they ain't worried about
They accept those so-called Ethiopian Jews.
Yeah,
Right.
they
You
rather
know?
the philosophy Jews. They rather them than us.
Yeah.
What they don't want it to be for sure is you slavery, Jake, man. You Hispanics, you Native. They know what they done to the Hispanics. They know what they done to the Native Americans. They know what they done to the so-called Negroes. They know, so they're like, please, anybody but them. But it was the reason why you chose us, because you knew we were great people. And your elite chose us on purpose because they knew the task was big, and if we take them out, we can accomplish our agenda.
Yep.
But that was a prideful statement. You gotta be.
God, all that passed by clapped their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head.
That's the camera now. Before they used to like take the kids, they point, and they be like, "What would you look?" Then they speed off.
Come
Now
on.
they have the camera, so you have that moment in his. Then they go back and tell the story to their Edomite friends. Hey, we were down on Skid Row, and I saw two junkies fighting over a crack rock. Oh, that shit was so funny, right? And that's laughing at Jake's expense when they created that whole environment for Jake to be destroyed with them.
Con, and
Thinking the Most High don't see that.
You remember when, going back into history, they used to have slave zoos,
Yeah.
where they would have Jake slaves, Jake men and women. You know, especially if they were like built.
con,
Esau saw that and would be fascinated by it,
Yep.
and he would actually basically put them in like little locations,
Yeah.
and they would have people come and actually come to view them like an animal at the zoo, man.
Like
What?
some Ripley's Believe It or Not type
God,
shit, man.
hey.
They had they could it was a what we see today, you know, because a so-called black woman, she's the most shapely woman. She stores all her bodily fat in her lower half of her body.
con.
To the so-called white man, that was considered abnormal, and they had a term for it. I forget the name of the term. I think it was like a Latin term, but it was considered basically a body defect, because we know Edomite women and these other women,
Built like
they ain't built like that. So our women had those bodies, so they considered that to be a body defect, man. And they placed a term upon it, and they basically put her in a like a museum
Time.
and have people taking pictures of her, man.
Yeah. And what different is that now? We're talking about the men. That's your NBA and your NFL. Put them in an arena and let's watch the amazing physical feats that they do.
Yeah.
That niggas jumping from the free throw line, shooting from half court and shit.
Niggas catching one-handed passes,
One-handed passes, running with somebody hanging on to their arm and their leg.
carrying
like,
the whole team.
Yeah, like
you know.
amazing feats, knocking the ball out the stadium.
If you look on TV, the main people that can afford to go to all these sporting events is Edomites.
Now you looking at crowds,
Yeah, all Edomites, man. You know, you got Jake sprinkled in there, but man, Jakes don't got money to go to spend no $500, $1,000 on those, you know, damn NBA games.
The same Jake that can't afford it is the same Jake that can do it.
Yeah. Con.
If they had the training, you take the average Jake, and if he had the training of these sports professionals, they'd be able to do it too.
But like this, you could have a Jake and an Edomite baby grow up, and you could train both of them to the same shit, to play basketball, training every day. They both got the same training. The Jake child is always going to prevail.
Yep.
Athletically, everything.
Yep.
All right, let me finish.
Yep.
Lamentations 2:15. All that passed by clapped their hands at thee.
And what do? When you do something good, they'll stand up and clap. Yeah, and they'll keep dunking the ball, getting us money. Keep being lowly. Keep being stupid.
What did they tell LeBron James last year? Shut up and dribble.
Shut up and dribble. Hey, what did I just redid the video. It was an old video of this the son of a Ku Klux Klan member that died for 3 minutes, right? When he woke up, he said, hey, they were the ones sitting back in the luxury boxes watching us play sports and laughing at us. We were entertaining them playing basketball and stuff, and Jesus was a nigger. That's literally what he said. Like basically said that he was black. He said they were up there laughing at, they were in the place of position, we were under them. He said, I'm mad my dad lied to me about it. You know? But that's the same thing in this time that they laugh at. They fan the hand, they laugh and they clap at us. to see the lowly, destroyed state that we're in. Keep going, bro.
They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying,
When you see two ghetto ass women fighting in Walmart, it was these niggas, man. Let me get my shit and get out of here. Then when we're safe, we'll look back and watch it and get a world star moment.
Kind.
And that's what Edomites do.
Yeah.
They probably go to World Star more than the Jakes.
Yeah.
Well, they do.
Yeah.
You see it in the comments section.
Kind, bro.
You
Kind.
see all type of racist shit that they wouldn't say in public.
Yeah, it was said in that moment.
Yeah.
But
And I found that term.
what was the term?
I found the term, but he can finish the scripture. I'll bring the term out.
Okay.
See, there's a picture too.
Right.
Is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty?
Is this the children of Israel? This is God's chosen people? This is the best people on the earth? Well,
The joy of the whole earth? All thy enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly,
hey, but you see how they told on themselves. We have swallowed her up. Because when you go to Psalm 83,
Yeah, that's what it
it
is.
tells you all about how they conspired to come up against us and keep us from being the powers that we're supposed to be. And that's how they said, we have swallowed her up. That we set up a system that destroys them.
Kind.
And we're watching that system play out every day. All in our communities, in these ghettos, these projects,
Barrios.
the barrios,
Reservations.
the reservations, the corporations and these jobs.
Right.
Cause when we go to Walmart, who do we see? We see Jake greet us. We see Jake doing the cashier stuff.
Jake late night stacking shelves.
Yeah, stacking shelves, putting inventory. What we don't see is these Edomite CEOs counting money. You know why? Because they're in the Bahamas or they're somewhere in Greece somewhere living it up off the works of you. Just like the slave master being in the house, the big house, having people wait on him hand and foot while you out there making his money, picking that crop.
certainly this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it.
This is the day that we look for. We have found it. We have seen it. You want to bring that out before we bring it out?
Yeah, real quick.
Yep.
Going into the condition of what they call a condition that the so-called black woman has,
Yep.
right?
About her voluptuousness.
About her voluptuous, which the Most High created the best for
God.
us. Okay, the Lord knows what we like. That's why He created our women to have that, even though it's
You
been
have to
it's
getting out of proportion right about now.
they
but
done to that
tighten it up, baby
that
girl,
Isaiah
you know.
3rd curse, but
Okay.
it's the term is called stetopygia. Stetopygia is a state of having substantial levels of tissue on the buttocks and thighs. This build is not confined to the gluteal regions, but extends to the outside and front of the thighs
Yep.
and tapers to the knee, producing a curvaceous figure.
Yep, that Coke bottom. And as we say now in these terms, that genie bottom. Jake got that genie bottom now.
Now, when you go into,
You gotta show the image, bro.
I'm gonna show the image. I'm gonna show it, but
Got it. Brick house.
here's a better one. This is a better one. All right, this is from BBC News. It says the significance of Sarah Bartman.
Kind.
All right, and she was a slave black woman, but they used her and paraded her around these Edomites,
Kind.
basically to show her off, her figure, her body, man.
Kind.
And basically Esau got off on that.
Hey, can I
So
tie
basically
in?
she was being paraded as a freak show.
Kind.
Much like how the so-called white man and all these other nations see our women,
Yep.
there's nothing new under the sun.
Hey, all this booty shaking and all of that our
Yeah, because
these
our
strip
woman got
clubs,
a big ass, so she,
strip clubs and all that. These
goes
naked
back to
live
slavery.
news shows, it goes right back to that.
yep. And here's the image.
Y'all gotta look at that.
Kind. Wasn't she the same one in which Esau just kept giving her over into Edomite men, where they were smashing her?
Got that.
Yeah, she was getting smutted out, man.
Got that, bro.
I'm gonna read some
Jake
of that
would lose his
article.
mind if she walked in the room right now with all that.
Yeah, man. And what they did was they sexually exploited her, man.
Yep.
So it says, this is from the Science Photo Library. 2 centuries ago, Sarah Bartman died after years spent in European freak shows.
Yep.
Now rumors over a possible Hollywood film.
It was called ghetto gagging now. Okay? That's what it's called today. All right? Go ahead, bro.
It says, now rumors over a possible Hollywood film about Bartman's life have sparked controversy. Sarah Bartman died on December 29, 1815, but her execution continued. Her brain, skeleton, and sexual organs remained on display in a Paris museum until 1974.
1974. They cut off her.
They cut off her body parts.
Her vagina and her titties and shit.
And he kept it for people to marvel at.
Wow.
If you, the same thing that these Edomites would do when you came off the slave ships and they had these picanics where they would pick niggas that they wanted to work for them. They based on price and ability and strength.
Like the combine.
The same NFL combines, the NBA training camps, and all these different things where they have you run the 40, see how much you can lift, and do all of this other stuff. They walked them up there. Oh, she got them village feeder titties. We're gonna let her feed the village to keep all our slaves nourished with the children.
The blind side, and they sent the video to all those different people, and the one dude was like, "I want him."
Exactly, it's the same thing. So because of how big he was, right? The same thing happened to our women that happened to us. Okay? They have completely destroyed us. That's why I said they have seen it, they have destroyed us. They gnashed the teeth and wagged the hand at us. There's a little bit more on there, right?
No,
But that was
I
on
got a
that.
precept.
Okay, no.
All right, I'll finish a little more. It says her remains weren't repatriated until buried until 2002.
2002.
Yeah.
That's damn near almost 200 years.
Yeah.
So this is just one story. So
Right,
This is
right.
one thing.
This is just one story,
And
man.
that's like Pocahontas is just one story. It's a similar thing.
So this is basically like them showing that they were dehumanizing this woman.
Kind.
Right.
Okay, like they were just seeing like, oh, that's
Package
an
of
animal
meat
right
walking
there.
around, yeah.
That's a lot of meat right there. Look at the big ass on that gal. You can see how they was talking back then.
That winch, that nigga
That
guy.
nigga gal, that witch right there. You know? It says, brought to Europe seemingly on false pretenses by a British doctor, stage name the Hottentot Venus.
The Hottentot Venus.
She was paraded around freak shows in London and Paris with
probably-
crowds invented to look at her large buttocks.
Hey.
Hey, like the strippers.
Yep.
You call yourself after certain exotic names. You know?
Sapphire. Venus. Shit.
Yeah.
Everybody call themselves Venus.
Kalu. Which that goes back to the worship of Asherah,
Yep.
which that was a fertility goddess
Yep.
of the Sumerian Empire,
Yep.
the Mesopotamians, and a lot of Jakes, they was actually worshiping Asherah. They would have what you call Asherah poles, which when you study into that, a woman that symbolizes sexual promiscuity and fertility. Those women on those poles, what does that symbolize?
Kind.
Well, that's what Jake was worshiping back then. When you read, during the time of the Babylonian Empire, they were worshiping Asherah, man. Look it up, man. Okay, worship and whoredom. That's why Jake, to this day, a lot of them worship these women
Kind.
That's
and
why.
pedestalize them.
That's why the Black Conscious Movement, they have no problem. It's already in themselves to believe in the black woman is God.
Exactly.
It's easy to do that because of what was paraded around with our women from back then, as well as it's being over-sensualized and over-sexualized in today's times as well.
Which is going back to what we're talking about, how the estate of the sons of men are as beasts, man. Animalistic. So continuing on, it says today she is seen by many as the epitome of colonial exploitation and racism, of the ridicule and commodification of so-called black people.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm gonna jump down real quick, and then we can get back into the scriptures. It says, in 1810, although illiterate, Bartman allegedly signed a contract with English ship surgeon William Dunlop and
Yeah,
mixed
you see
race.
that it's a lot. You see that they say she was illiterate, but she still signed.
Hey.
Esau doing paperwork, man.
That's Jake in football and basketball.
Yep.
Them niggas can barely read, but they sign on the dotted line.
Yep.
Right.
Sign their souls
You
right
gotta
up.
tell them is you gonna get this much money. Just sign this paper.
Yep.
It says, a mixed race entrepreneur, Hendrik Caesar, in whose household she worked, saying she would travel to England to take part in shows. The reason was that Bartman, also known as Sarah or Saarji had what was called statopegia, resulting in extremely protuberant buttocks due to buildup of fat. These made her a cause of fascination when she was exhibited at a venue in London's Piccadilly Circus after her arrival. So they was basically putting her in as a circus
She
act.
was like the bearded lady, you know?
And that's what our women to this day.
The midget or whoever.
Yeah.
The super strong midget that's at the circus. We got a midget, we got a lion, we got 2 elephants that dance, we got the ball bouncing seal, and we got this nigga gal that's you've never seen her stacked like this, a brick house. The Venus, you know? She from another
Kaiser's over
planet.
there call us monkeys all the time.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yep.
It says you have to remember that at the time it was highly fashionable and desirable for women to have large bottoms, so lots of people envied what she had naturally,
Yep.
without having to accentuate her figure.
That time is back. She had it naturally. It wasn't breast augmentation, butt augmentation like there is now. These people are getting that because they have that envy.
They get that surgery.
They had a surgery. Back then, our women have always had it.
They still do to this
They
day.
still do.
Excuse me, folks.
Yeah.
The women, the European women, they used to idolize our sisters so bad
Yeah.
that they used to wear this metal frame up under their dresses to
Yeah.
Make it
bust
look,
and
yeah.
move.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they talk demonic shit about them at the same time.
Exactly right. Because it's the envy, right? They envy them that they want to be them, but they can't. But I can't be no good if I don't knock you off
Right.
from being who you are.
That part.
If they see me, I look amazing. But if they see me and you, I don't look as good.
Right.
What did Cat Williams say? You said a Chrysler 300 look like a Phantom till a Chrysler 300, to a Phantom show up. And she was a Phantom to them other women, and when you show up, you just gotta pull off the block. Same type situation.
The Edomite women that's doing that today, 'cause with the plastic surgery, they getting shit in their lips,
Lips,
their ass,
yeah.
their titties, you know?
Yep. Yeah, boy,
It
right?
ain't nothing like the real thing.
It says on stage she wore skin-tight, flesh-colored clothing, as well as beads and feathers,
That's what I
and
wear that
smoked a
today.
pipe.
That's what what
This-
year is
this-
this again? 2019,
This
right?
is, you're right.
With that media part, I gotta say, everybody want to be a nigga, but don't nobody want to be a
Hey,
nigga.
but this ain't nothing new under the sun, man.
Time.
They sexualized our women, and today they're seen in the same light, man. But today our women, they're so gone, and society basically got them totally indoctrinated into this society that our women, they don't even see it, man. It plays into their pleasure because they like being the object of sexual attention and desire, man. So our women, they gotta break that shit, man. But a lot of them, hey, it's they hustle now, man.
And what did the Bible say? The desire should be to thy husband.
Right.
He shall rule over thee. Not this man rule over you, and he let the next man hit it for a fee, and he rule. That's hormones. There was nothing said there should be no whores among the daughters of Israel, and no sodomites among the sons of Israel. To reference.
These Edomites basically didn't put that spirit on you, man.
Yep.
All right, and this is going back to slavery. We were reading it, man.
Yep.
So y'all got y'all mentality basically from slavery.
Still got the
Right.
slave mentality.
It says,
That's a lot. This is how you're still spiritually dead because you're still in that mind state.
exactly.
Yeah,
It says wealthy customers could pay for private demonstrations in their homes
Private show in the back room, champagne room.
with their guests allowed to touch her. All right,
But
and
you're
then,
allowed to touch, right?
and I'm gonna show
It sound
one
like a
more.
strip club.
I'm gonna show one more
They say all
picture.
the time, you're not in slavery.
Yeah.
We still got that yoke on our necks.
Yep.
I'm gonna show the picture and then we can get back into the scriptures.
Yep.
All right, and you see is a big, voluptuous so-called black woman, but then you see Esau basically, prepping her up, looking at her, like she was basically less than human, man. All right, so that's how these Edomites feel about our people to this day, man, because you've been brought to a low estate. So I'm pretty sure the brother got a scripture, that's part of the curse, man. And we're here to tell you to wake out of sleep, man.
Gone.
We're coming out of those curses now, man. We're the princes of the power, man.
The knowledge and the wisdom is out there for us to wake up out of that, to not be those dry bones in that spiritually dead state anymore. Everybody got a smartphone. Everybody can Google. the information's out there. It's not, and we're on every corner at least once a week. On the internet and YouTube 24 hours a day. We're on social media. There's no way that they're on the news, CNN. How do you not Google and find out who you are and come back to that? Because you're still in a spiritually dead state, and you like being in that spirit. You like staying on the plantation.
That's it. Go ahead.
I got two scriptures. Deuteronomy 32:7. Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. So that's
I mean, meaning what? We're supposed to look back to our origins, man. The ways of our fathers, man. What was the ways of our fathers, man? This knowledge, okay? The ways of life. What does that tell you when was that Jeremiah 6:16? Seek ye the old path.
Yep.
But then it also
we gotta get it.
Yeah, go in and get it, man.
I'll grab it right quick.
You know, because that wasn't our way, man. For our women that whore themselves out and be paraded,
I was looking
you know,
for it,
as sexual objects. You know, our women dancing on the pole. That's actually a curse, man.
Actually, we got to go through these. Remember the days of old. Remember what our enemies did to us.
Yeah, what we went through as a people.
You know, because a lot of our people fucking think that white people are their friends, man. These Edomites, man. These other nations, man.
Exactly.
All right.
Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, stand ye in the old ways, in the ways and see, and as for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein.
And what's the good way? The word, man, the truth.
Wisdom of the word.
Okay. Law, statutes, and commandments.
Yep, go ahead.
It says, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. Hey, has your way worked? Has this society worked out for you? As a whole, there's one or two that make it to a certain level, but those that made it to that level, do you really have rest within yourself? No. You gotta work to get there. You gotta give up yourself to get there, and then to stay there, you gotta continually sacrifice and give up yourself to get there, to stay there. And no matter what, at the end of the day, ask Bill Cosby, ask R. Kelly, and whoever else, you can see that they still want their money back. They're gonna come and take it from you, take you down before you die off this planet anyway. Ask Michael Jackson, whoever else.
Quick one. Deuteronomy 28:65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease.
No ease.
Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest.
Nothing that you do is gonna give you rest. Okay, when it's talking, a lot of times the analogy in the scriptures was talking about with your feet and walking is the things that you actually are doing. Okay, when you do them, there's nothing that you can do on this earth that's gonna give you peace and rest. This word is what refreshes you and gives you rest.
28.
Yep, 28 and 12.
Yep.
Go ahead, bro.
It says, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, a failing of eyes, and a sorrow of mind.
And then think about it. You think she went out and paraded herself in these circuses just because she wanted to do it? No, you know her life was on the line.
She was a slave.
You know she was threatened with death or whatever, or starving or whatever they, letting the lions.
Kill her family or some shit.
Something. Yeah. She has some consequence if she didn't do it, as most of our people did.
You saw know how to mess with you.
Let me wrap this last little bit. It says, what you got?
I had what he said.
Okay, let me go ahead.
It's Micah 2:10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted and shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction.
The ways that you've been living in the society are set up to destroy you. Yeah, but in the meantime, as you're learning and thinking you're getting somewhere, they'll give you a little bit to make you feel like you're coming up in the world. It's all for their entertainment. And when they're tired of looking at you, they'll pull the plug on you and let you wither away and die with everybody else that's lowly and on the bottom.
Yeah, Esau, when you go to school, Esau would teach about history. It's all lies, man.
Yep.
So that's pollution. That's pollution, man.
Yep. You can't look at the society and the wicked ways and expect it to profit you. Wickedness, the only thing it profits is the grave. You don't.